Good morning, one and all. Last session, we already discussed about some important topics in our heat lesson. They are nothing but resultant temperature and how is it possible to obtain the formula of resultant temperature. Now, in this session, we will discuss about one of the most and foremost important essay in our heat lesson. It is lab activity. So what is lab activity? In our examination, from one of the lab activity in any lesson, the question must and should be expected. So in our first lesson, there is only one lab activity. That lab activity is nothing but determination of specific heat of given solid. So any lab activity, there are some conditions. Aim, materials required or apparatus required, precautions, procedure, conclusion, observation. These are all must and should be maintained in any lab activity. So in that one, first of all, we want to discuss about aim. Our aim is to find a specific heat of lead shots. Here, the solid is we take in lead shots. For that, what are the materials required? Materials required are calorimeter, stirrer, thermometer, water, lead shots, wooden box, weighing machine, steam heater. So these are all materials are required to demonstrate or to conduct our lab activity. So after that one, what about next one? Precautions. Precautions. What do you know about precautions? Precautions means if you are conducting any experiment, we must and should take in some precautions. Otherwise, there are so many problems that instruments will burst or some chemicals are fall on our hands. That's why precautions are must and should be taken. The precautions are here. Arrange the materials carefully. The given materials are we can arrange carefully. And second one is observe the readings carefully. In our activity, thermometer readings, weight of the thermometers, weight of the machines, weight of the calorimeters, these readings, thermometer readings, everyone we must and should note down carefully. Otherwise, that experiment will collapse. That values are not reached carefully or exactly. After that, after precautions, procedure. Procedure means process. What type of process here we've involved? First of all, take calorimeter with stirrer. Take calorimeter with stirrer. So normally, what about calorimeter? This is the calorimeter and it is also consisting of one stirrer. This is a stirrer and this is the calorimeter. Take calorimeter and stirrer, then mass of calorimeter plus stirrer. It is m1 grams. Mass of calorimeter plus stirrer m1 grams. Next, 1/3 volume of calorimeter poured water. Then mass of calorimeter plus stirrer plus water, that equal to m2 grams. m2 grams. First mass of calorimeter and stirrer m1 grams. Then it is filled with 1/3 volume filled with water. Then mass of calorimeter, stirrer plus water is m2 grams. Now only mass of water. Mass of water is m2 minus m1 grams. Mass of water is m2 minus m1 grams. Initial temperature of calorimeter plus stirrer is T1 degree Celsius. Here water also maintain the same temperature, means T1 degree Celsius. Okay. Next we want to take in some lead shots. Lead shots in a steam heater. So take some lead shots in a steam heater and they are heated up to 100 degrees Celsius. So the temperature is, here the temperature is T2 degrees Celsius. Then immediately these lead shots are transformed into calorimeter. Then we already told in calorimeter there is some water. This water and this steam lead shots, thermal equilibrium takes place. Automatically it may lose some heat energy. Simultaneously water gains some heat energy. So here mass of calorimeter, stirrer, water plus lead shots, that equal to m3 grams. Next, only mass of lead shots, that equal to m3 minus m2. How is it possible to explain? m2 we already discussed. Here m2 is nothing but mass of calorimeter plus stirrer and water. But we required only mass of lead shots. Then how is it possible? m3 means mass of calorimeter, stirrer, water, lead shots m3 minus calorimeter, stirrer, water mass is m2. Then you will get only mass of lead shots. Similarly, temperature of lead shots. How is it possible to find temperature of lead shots? We already heated lead shots up to 100 degrees Celsius. It is noted down as T2 degrees Celsius. Then these lead shots are transformed into calorimeter. Here water and lead shots are being heat is transmitted, and here resultant temperature is T3 degrees Celsius. Now temperature of lead shots means T2 minus T3, T2 minus T3. So we already calculated here mass of lead shots m3 minus m2, temperature of lead shards T2 minus T3. Then according to principle of method of mixo, there is no heat loss and heat gain from our surroundings. Then net heat lost by the hotter sample is equal to net heat gained by the colder sample. Here net heat lost by the hotter sample means lead shards. Net heat gained by the colder sample means water and calorimeter. Now we want to give in some symbols. Specific heat of lead shards, SC. Next, specific heat of calorimetry or calorimeter. Here specific heat of lead shards, once again we want to take in SL. Specific heat of calorimeter SC. Next, specific heat of water SW. So here we already given specific heat of lead shards, symbol SL, specific heat of calorimeter SC, specific heat of water SW, and these terms are we can applicable in our principle of method of mixer. Principle of method of mixer according to principle of method of mixer, net heat lost is equal to net heat gained. Here net heat lost means here what is the hotter body? Lead shards. So it is also writes as net heat lost by lead shards is equal to net heat gained by calorimeter plus water. This is the important formula to get our final resultant specific heat of lead shards. So net heat lost by the lead shards. What is our general formula? Our general formula is Q is equal to ms delta T, which we already discussed. With the help of this one, net heat lost by the lead shards. So what about that formula? We required mass of calorimeter, mass of lead shards, mass of specific heat of lead shards, temperature changes of lead shards, and we also applicable the same formula to this calorimeter and water. First we want to applicable this formula net heat lost by the lead shards. So what about the mass of lead shards? Mass of lead shards we already told M3 minus M2. This is the mass of lead shards which we already discussed here. Mass of lead shards M3 minus M2. Okay. Mass of lead shards M3 minus M2. Next S means here specific heat of lead shard which we already given SL. Delta T means temperature or change of temperature of lead shards. Change of temperature of lead shards we already taken. It is nothing but T2 minus T3. This is only for net heat lost by the lead shards. Then net heat gained by the calorimeter. What about net heat gained by the calorimeter? Here also we can applicable mass of calorimeter. Mass of calorimeter we already told M1. S is the specific heat of calorimeter, SC. T is the temperature change of calorimeter. It is nothing but T3 minus T1 plus net heat gained by the water. Here also we can applicable the same formula for water. Water mass is M2 minus M1, which we already wrote. M2 minus M1. S means specific heat of water, we already given, SW. Next, delta T means it is also same temperature, T3 minus T1. So, with the help of this formula, we already given this equation. Then, here, if you observe right side, T3 minus T1 common. That's why here we want to take in T3 minus T1 as a common. Then, what about remaining? Remaining one, M1 SC plus M2 minus M1 into SW. Now, here what we are going to discuss, what we are going to explain, what we are going to obtain, what is our aim? Our aim is to find specific heat of lead shards. That's why here we want to take in, we want to write as specific heat of lead shard SL here, and we want to write the same M1 SC plus M2 minus M1 SW into T3 minus T1. This is these two terms are into terms. Taking after is equal to, it means by, that is nothing but M3 minus M2 into T2 minus T3. So this is the last formula to find specific heat of lead shards. So SL is equal to M1 SC plus M2 minus M1 SW into T3 minus T1 by M3 minus M2 into T2 minus T3. So this is the final formula to find the given specific heat of lead shards. How is it possible, sir? If you substitute mass of calorimeter, mass of water, mass of lead shards, specific heat of lead shard, specific heat of water, specific heat of calorimeter, specific heat of lead shards, and if you substitute all the terms which we already taken in this formula, then we can easily find specific heat of lead shards. So it is very important essay question. So everybody should practice this. Then only we will get the correct procedure. Then you will get 4 marks. And after this one, there is also one important and a simple concept. It is nothing but that, for example, the topic we can take in for our lively examples. In your house, mother is sweeping, and after that your room or your house is cleaned with water. But after some time, the water is present there. Is it possible to observe the water on the floor? No, after some time, the water is disappeared. Similarly, in your house, mother is taken some wet cloths. These wet cloths are placed outside. What do you understood? Within 3 hours or 4 hours, if you go and touch means, are you able to observe any water droplets? We can't find. So, what happened here? Where this water goes? For that, we want to explain with one activity. What about that activity? That activity is nothing but take simple example, take spirit with the help of the dropper and it is placed on your palm. Then immediately what do you feel? Immediately you can feel that it is nothing but cool. And is it possible to appear the spirit on your palm? Not at all. Means that spirit is disappear. Where the spirit when goes? Why the spirit is disappear? For that we want to explain detailedly about this concept. So we required once again one simple activity. What about the simple activity? Take 2 petri dishes which is available in our laboratory. Petri dish means it is a small dish. And you also taken 1 ml of spirit. 1 ml of spirit. Take one more petri dish. Here also we can place 1 ml of spirit. 1 ml of spirit. Then one of the dish, actually these two are contain one lid. It is also contain one lid. But here the condition is one petri dish is open and second one is closed with the lid. Then these two are placed under the fan. These two are placed under the fan. One is open condition and second one is it must and should have one lid. It must and have one lid. So because of this, okay, so in one of the petri dish there is no lid, but second one it must and should have one lid. And these two are placed under the fan. Because of this rotation of this fan, after some time, what you have to observe? You have to observe here only the spirit is appear in second dish. In first dish, there is no spirit. Where this spirit goes? What is the mechanism involved here? That mechanism is nothing but evaporation. Evaporation. What is this evaporation? This is also a very important concept which we are observing in our day-to-day life or daily life. What is the mechanism involved here? If you place the dish under the fan, then what happened? Because of the fan speed, the air moves very fast and it can touches the in petri dish also it consisting of spirit molecules. Here the air rotates very fast. Because of this one, these molecules of spirit or spirit molecules, they are randomly moving. While they are moving randomly, they can collide with one to another. If they are colliding the particles of these spirit molecules, it can transmit their energy. If they transmit their energy and they are reaches the surface of that spirit and it gains some energy and these particles are fly off. The particles are fly off. And sometime it is not possible all the molecules are not fly off because they are not having the suitable energy. For that what we want to do? For that some of the particles we can absorb, some of the molecules are returned back. And once again they can transmit, they can collide. They get sufficient energy and once again they can fly off. Some are returning Some molecules are returning, some are fly off. So because of this mechanism, if returning molecules are less, but escaped molecules are more, by the process of this one, continuously, after some time, there are no spirit molecules in that dish. So mainly here, what happened? Liquid phase changes into gaseous phase. That is also one of the concept or one of the definition of evaporation. So in our lively examples, where we want to observe this evaporation, the water in oceans or in sea, water is evaporated, and if you pour some of the water on the road because of sun heat, the water is disappear. In our day-to-day life, we can observe different types of examples. So because of this evaporation, water is disappears on the floor, disappears in that wet cloths. And what is the definition of this evaporation? The process of escaping of molecules. The process of escaping of molecules. Here molecules means water molecules. The process of escaping of water molecules from surface of the liquid. From surface of the liquid at any temperature. At any temperature. Below its boiling point is called evaporation. Once again, what is the definition of evaporation? The process of escaping of water molecules from surface of the liquid at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Here we want taken water means water molecule. If we take in spirit means spirit molecules. So finally what we decided? The process of escaping of molecules from the surface of any liquid. The process of escaping of molecules from surface of any liquid below its boiling point. Here we want to take not a fixed temperature. At any temperature below its boiling point is called as evaporation. Here, while evaporation takes place, cooling is present. So evaporation is cooling process. Evaporation is cooling process. Evaporation is cooling process. Evaporation is cooling process. Why evaporation is cooling process? Because here the air molecules or the liquid particles are escaped from surface of the liquid. And it is also called as, it is surface phenomenon. Why it is surface phenomenon? Because the particles are or the molecules are escaped from the surface. So, which of the following is surface phenomenon? Evaporation. And next one, here there is one important question. What is that? Why evaporation is cooling process? Here the evaporation is cooling process because the molecules or the particles of liquid continuously gives up their energy. Continuously gives up their energy to the particles which are escaped from surface. Means from surface they continuously gives up energy. So what about that surface? That surface is liquid. If any energy or any particles or any molecules escaped from liquid, it must and should be cooling. What is our lively example? How is it possible? If you sit beyond the bank of a river or the bank of a pond, the air which comes above that water, how do you feel? We may feel that cool. And what is the mechanism involved in here in that coolers and ACs? Coolers also, the air is continuously comes up from the water, from the surface of water, so it can maintain coolness. So evaporation is cooling process because it continuously gives up. The molecules or the particles from the liquid continuously gives up energy to the particles which are escaping from surface. So it is also very important one. And one more important one is nothing but it is also our lively example. It is also our easy example, day-to-day example. If you are some peoples are or workers are doing work, while they are doing work, they are getting sweat. Why they are getting sweat? It is also one simple question, normal question. Actually, if you are doing work, when you are doing work, the most of the energy transform into heat energy. In our body, most of the energy converted into heat energy. That's why if you touch the body at the time, the body temperature is more, the body temperature is high. Then the water which is present in our sweat glands starts to come out from that sweat glands. If it is come out from that sweat glands, we may thought that it is sweating. If you sit under the fan, how do you feel? We may feel that cool. That's why I already told why it is cool, because from the surface of our body, evaporation takes place. If evaporation takes place, we may feel that cool. Similarly, we want to tell about one more example. In a hot summer day, the dog pant, it can place tongue outside. Why the dog is placed tongue outside? If you give some water, it is not taken. If you provide some food, it is not taken. But why it is doing like this? Because it want to absorb, it want to takes evaporation. What takes evaporation? Where it is takes? Where it is takes? Do you know? Do you observe the dog body totally covered with fur? But there are no sweat glands. Sweat glands are only possible or only available on its tongue and feet. And their feet. But their feet with little bit space. That's why most of the sweat glands are present on its tongue. That's why it can place the tongue outside. And the evaporation takes place from that tongue. So it can feel comfort. So these type of lively examples we already discussed. So this is one of the most important concept, evaporation. Finally, evaporation simple definition is the process liquid phase change into gaseous phase. Liquid phase change into gaseous phase. Okay. Then what is the reversible process of this evaporation? What is the reversible process? The reversible process is nothing but reversible process means gas converted into liquid. How is it possible to explain? How is it possible to explain? Gas converted to liquid. So it is quite reverse of evaporation. So what is the reversible process of evaporation? Reversible process of evaporation is nothing but condensation. 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 What is condensation? What is condensation? Condensation, it is also one of the important process which takes place in our surroundings, in our atmosphere. Condensation. How is it possible to explain about this condensation? For the demonstration of this condensation, we required cold water. So we want to take in cold water, and it can place in a glass of half of the volume of glass. We can pour cold water, then leave for some time. After some time, if you observe, means some of the water droplets are present on surface of glass tumbler. Some water droplets are present on glass tumbler. Why these water droplets are formed? Let us see. Listen carefully. The temperature which is surrounding of this cold water is high. Means cold water temperature is less in initial position. And we already know some water vapor also present in our atmosphere. This water vapor along with the air, it can travel, it can move from one place to another place. If they are traveling from one place to another place, they can strike on this glass tumbler. If this water vapor strike on this glass tumbler, then what happened? Its kinetic energy is reduced. Kinetic energy of that water vapor reduced. Because they are strike on that glass tumbler. If you are going on the road, if there is a speed breaker, then immediately what we want to do? Gradually reduce our vehicle speed. Similarly here also, if this water vapor touch on that, strike on that glass tumbler, their kinetic energy is reduced. And also, some of the energy received by the glass tumbler. So, energy of the kinetic energy of glass tumbler gradually increases. This energy is transmitted to that water. This glass tumbler transmit this energy to this cold water. So finally, the average kinetic energy of water gradually increases. The average kinetic energy of water or cold water gradually increases. So, finally, initial condition, what about the water position? It is very cool. But after some time, what happened? Because of this water vapor along with the air strike on the water glass, then it can form water droplets. Means here gas is converted into liquid. In this mechanism, the cold water temperature is slowly increasing. That's why this is simply called as a warming process. Condensation is warming process. Warming process is nothing but slight heat. So because of this cause, some water droplets are present on glass tumbler. Okay. So there is any example for this? Yes, it is a simple example. If you take in a sunny or hot day, if you are taking bath in a bathroom, then immediately what happened? We can observe that in that sunny day, means 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, if you are taking bath, the number of molecules evaporated in bathroom per unit volume is greater than the outside of the bathroom. Number of molecules evaporated per unit volume in bathroom greater than the number of molecules evaporated per unit volume. That's why inside of the bathroom we may feel that some hotness, some warming process. Why? Because there is condensation takes place. Water vapor changes into liquid. How, sir? If we are trying to clean our body with the help of towel, once again we can observe some water droplets are present on our body. It is due to condensation. So what is the mechanism involving while taking bath in sunny day? Condensation. So what is condensation? Condensation we can discuss with the help of this one. Condensation is the process where gaseous phase changes into liquid phase. Sir, is it possible to any lively examples? For example, if you want to take any humidity, what about the humidity which we already learned? The amount of water vapor present in our air or atmosphere is called humidity. The amount of water vapor present in air or atmosphere is called humidity. We already discussed. Okay. Humidity. The amount of water vapor present in air or atmosphere is called humidity. Do you know, in our atmosphere, 80% of water is evaporated from our water bodies, means sea, oceans, etc. Remaining 20% of water is evaporated from plants, flowers, and remaining things. So, what are the lively examples of this condensation? Dew and fog. Dew and fog are two simple examples. Not only dew and fog, there are so many examples. Frost, rain, hail, snow. These are all different types of different terms which we can explain about by using of the concept of condensation. For example, if you take dew, what do you know about dew? In winter season, you can observe early morning, you can observe bike covers, mirrors, grass. On the surface of that, we can observe small water droplets. The small water droplets are formed due to dew. But the main mechanism is condensation. How is it possible to explain? In winter season, you can observe the temperature levels are gradually decreases. At night time, the temperature levels are gradually decreases. And condensation takes place. What is condensation? Gas is converted into liquid state. The air above these surfaces. What are the surfaces? Grass, bike covers, mirrors. The air above these surfaces gets saturated. Then some water droplets are present on that. These water droplets are present. Why they are present? The main mechanism is condensation, and the water droplets which are present on this grass, window panes, they are called as dew. So while dew takes place, we are able to see the surroundings. So no problem, we can able to see the surroundings. And what about next? Fog. What about fog? Fog is nothing but, it is also same mechanism, condensation. Because of that condensation, that winter season, night time the temperature levels are gradually decreases. There condensation takes place. Gas particles are converted into liquid, but these liquid particles are mixed with dust particles, and it can form a mist. That thick mist layer is called fog. While fog takes place, we are unable to see the surroundings. It is strictly invisible. That's why it is very dangerous. I think we can observe newspapers and TV channels. There are so many accidents occurs only at early morning. Why it is early morning only these accidents takes place? Because in winter season only, especially. In winter season, we already told early morning fog takes place. If fog takes place, then what happens? It is not possible to see the surroundings. That's why those who know about this condensation process, dew and fog, that drivers are must and should be stopped their traveling, and after 6 or 7 o'clock, when sun arrives, at the time only they want to continue their travels. Otherwise, they will meet an accident. So, as a drivers and as science teachers or as science students, you must and should learn about these things, and we can utilize, we can applicable this condensation, dew, fog in our daily life. So here Every subject, why they are introduced, we must and should learn. You must and should mobilize from that concepts, and we can applicable to in our human life or in our life. That's why they are introduced this type of subjects in our classes. So this is once again today what you have to learn. Once again we want to recall today what you have to learn. Here, first of all, we already discussed about lab activity. Lab activity. So what is that lab activity? The lab activity is nothing but to find specific heat of lead shards. For that, I already told, if you want to conduct any lab activity, we must and should follow some rules and regulations. What are they? First one is aim. And after that, materials required are apparatus. Next one, precautions. By next one, procedure. By next one, observation. And finally, we want to take in conclusion. So in that one, we already taken aim to find the specific heat of lead shards. And after that, materials required, calorimeter, stirrer, thermometer, water, lead shards, wooden box, weighing machine, steam heater. First of all, precautions. So what about the precaution? Arrange the materials carefully, observe the readings carefully. Next, procedure. So first of all, we want to take one calorimeter along with the stirrer and find the mass of calorimeter and stirrer. It is m1 grams. Then 1/3 volume of calorimeter filled with water and its mass equal to m2 grams. Then we want only mass of water. It is nothing but m2 minus m1 grams. Initial temperature of calorimeter and stirrer T1 degrees Celsius. Here water also maintain T1 degrees Celsius. Then we want to take in some lead shards and these are taken into a steam heater and they are heated up to 100 degrees Celsius. The temperature is T2 degrees Celsius. Immediately these lead shards are transformed into calorimeter which contain water. Then immediately the water it can absorb some heat. The resultant temperature is T3. Next, mass of calorimeter, stirrer, water and lead shards m3 grams. Only mass of lead shards means m3 minus m2. Next, temperature of lead shards T2 minus T3 because T2 is the final temperature, T3 is the resultant temperature. Then once again we want to give in some symbols. Specific heat of lead shards SL, specific heat of calorimeter SC, specific heat of water SW. According to principle of method of Mixo, net heat lost is equal to net heat gained. Here net heat lost by the lead shards is equal to net heat gained by the calorimeter plus water. Here by using of Q is equal to ms delta T. Net heat lost by the lead shards. So lead shards mass m3 minus m2. Next, specific heat of lead shards SL. Temperature of lead shards T2 minus T3. Next, calorimeter mass m1. Specific heat of calorimeter SC. Temperature of that calorimeter T3 minus T1. Then water mass m2 minus m1. SW is the specific heat of water. T3 minus T1 is the temperature change in water. Then here T3 minus T1 we already taken a common. Then m1 SC plus m2 m1 SW. Finally here SL equal to m1 SC plus m2 minus m1 SW T3 minus T1 by m3 minus m2 into T2 minus T3. If you substitute all the terms in the equation, then we will get a specific heat of lead shards. Not only lead shards, if you want to take in any solid, copper, iron, anything, we can find the same manner. And after this one, next we want to discuss already evaporation. What is evaporation? Evaporation is one of the simple process where liquid phase changes into gaseous phase. Further to I already demonstrate with an activity. Take 2 petri dishes and place 1 ml of spirit in that two petri dishes. One is closed with the lid, another one is open. Then these two are placed under the fan. Because of that fan is rotating, you can easily observe that the open lid, the dish doesn't contain any spirit, and from this one you have to understood that spirit is evaporated. Further we already explained about the mechanism where the liquid phase changes into gaseous phase at any temperature below its boiling point is evaporation. And is there any reversible process of evaporation? It is nothing but condensation. Condensation also very important topic, which is also very useful in our human life. So for that one, we already taken cold water in a glass tumbler, and after some time you have to observe some of the water droplets are present on surface of the glass tumbler. Why they are formed? Here they are formed due to the process of condensation. So I already told water vapor present in our atmosphere. It can moving from one place to another place. While they are moving, they can strike on the glass tumbler. Their kinetic energy is gradually decreases, and their kinetic energy is reduced. So gas is converted into liquids. So the droplets are formed on that one. Here the internal energy of that water gradually increases because it can gain some average kinetic energy from glass tumbler. And finally, what we are discussing here, finally condensation is defined as the process of changing of gas phase into liquid phase is called condensation. So this condensation process also we already explained in bathing in bathroom. In hot days we are taking bathroom. In that bathroom we are taking a bath, and immediately you can observe that we may feel that hot because it is warming process. Condensation takes place there. That's why we are what is the mechanism here? Number of molecules are evaporated for unit volume in the bathroom is greater than the outside of the bathroom. That's why condensation takes place. And even you can try to clean your body with the help of the towel. You can observe some of the water droplets are present on your body. It is due to condensation. So here, what are the examples here? How is it possible to explain about this condensation? Detail. Humidity. Humidity is the process of the amount of water vapor present in air or atmosphere is called as humidity. Do you know 80% of water is evaporated from our water bodies, remaining 20% evaporated from surrounding trees, flowers, etc. And one of the most important application of this condensation is dew and fog. Dew is nothing but in winter season we can observe some of the water droplets present on grass, window panes and bike mirrors. It is due to condensation. The water droplets at that moment is called as dew. While dew takes place, we are able to see the surroundings. And next one is fog. Fog is also one of the most important applicable of condensation. In winter season, the temperature levels are gradually decreases, and that gas is converted into liquid. These liquid particles or droplets are mixed with the dust particles, and it can form a mist layer. So a thick mist layer is called fog. While fog takes place, we are unable to see the surroundings. So not only these two, there are so many examples: frost, hail, rain, snow. These are all also applicable of our condensation, but in our textbook only he given dew and fog. They are also very important applications. Okay, thank you one and all.